Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today because, well, we're going to look at something most of us walk right past every single day without even a second thought. We are going to look straight beneath the surface to discover the hidden and, honestly, completely fascinating biological world of our lawns. So let's dive right into this. You know, when we think about lawn care, we usually just focus on what we can see, right? The green grass, the weeds, the mowing. But true lawn health, that is entirely built from the ground up. Today, we're taking a 30-day journey underground to see exactly how a simple mechanical process completely awakens a sleeping biological ecosystem.
Okay, if you've ever had your lawn professionally aerated, or maybe you've just seen a neighbor have it done, you have absolutely asked this exact question. You look out at the grass, and instead of this pristine green carpet, it looks like a flock of geese just marched through and left a mess everywhere. It's a little ugly, right? Why are there little dirt plugs all over the yard? Well, in this explainer, I'm going to promise you something. By the time we finish up here, you are going to completely reframe how you see those messy dirt plugs. You won't see a ruined lawn anymore. You're going to see the beginning of a miraculous 30-day biological reset, one that's going to totally transform the soil structure and root health of that grass for months to come.
All right, let's get into part one, the hidden villain, soil compaction.
So before we can talk about the cure, we really have to talk about the disease. Compaction is, very simply, the squeezing of soil. Over time, all that downward pressure completely removes the tiny microscopic air pockets that exist in healthy dirt. Think of it kind of like a kitchen sponge that has been squeezed totally flat and just held that way. When this happens to your yard, it essentially chokes the life out of the grass. I mean, the roots physically can't breathe. Water, instead of soaking in to hydrate the plant like it should, just runs right off the hard surface. Your lawn's root growth slows to an absolute crawl, making the entire system incredibly vulnerable to things like summer drought and diseases. And listen, if you happen to live in an area with really dense soil, this villain is working double time. Let's look at Charlotte, North Carolina as a prime example here. The Piedmont clay out there is naturally dense and notoriously prone to this exact kind of compaction. But, it's not just the clay's fault. The causes include normal foot traffic from kids and pets playing, heavy lawnmowers rolling over the exact same tracks week after week, heavy rainfall pounding the surface, past construction activity, or literally just everyday use. Every single time you walk across your yard, you are slightly squeezing out those vital air pockets.
So, how do we fix it? That brings us to part two, the catalyst, the great oxygen rush.
How do we fight this invisible villain? We bring in a hero, and that crucial catalyst is simply oxygen. If you ask most homeowners what makes a lawn healthy, they're going to immediately say fertilizer, or maybe water. And yes, for sure, those are super important. But fertilizer is absolutely useless if the roots can't absorb it. The true foundational catalyst for everything happening beneath the surface is oxygen. Without it, roots cannot efficiently produce energy, they can't grow, and they definitely can't repair damage. Core aeration steps in and creates thousands of miniature gateways straight into the root zone, delivering this vital ingredient right where it needs to go. So here is our 30-day roadmap post-aeration. On day one, the machine pulls the plugs, and the gateways open up. Suddenly, instead of water sitting on compacted clay, the soil can actually breathe. In week one, we get the microbial wake-up. Week two brings root expansion. In week three, those plugs decompose. And finally, by week four, we achieve stronger soil. Let's break down exactly what is happening in each of these critical phases.
Starting with week one, the microbial wake-up.
Oh man, this is where the magic really begins. The exact moment those holes are punched in the lawn, an incredible rush of oxygen fills the soil profile. Down in the dirt, there are literally billions of beneficial microorganisms. But in compacted clay, they were suffocating. They were totally dormant. Now though, they wake up and they are hungry. These newly awakened microbes get straight to work, breaking down thatch, old decaying roots, leftover organic matter, and old nutrient residues. They act like this amazing microscopic cleanup crew, clearing out all the old, stagnant material to make way for a fresh, healthy growing environment. On the surface, you still just see those dirt plugs, but underneath, it is an absolute hive of biological activity.
Moving right along to week two, root expansion.
Okay, so now that the microbes have started clearing house and the soil is completely filled with oxygen, the grass roots respond aggressively. We always tend to think roots just need to grow deeper, right? Well, actually, scratch that. True root expansion means they are branching outward into those newly loosened spaces created by the aeration process. This branching creates thousands of brand new root tips, and every single new root tip acts like a tiny little sponge, dramatically increasing your lawn's ability to absorb water, pull in nutrients, produce energy, and ultimately survive really stressful conditions like a brutal summer drought.
There is a massive disconnect between what we see on the surface and what's actually happening underneath at this stage. Above ground, things are still, well, visually underwhelming. You might see slightly improved color, maybe a bit of faster recovery after you mow, but those messy dirt plugs, yeah, they're still very visible. But below ground? It's a bustling biological metropolis. Roots are branching at a rapid pace, microbes are feasting, and oh, this is a great bonus, earthworms now have the loosened soil they need to move around, which, by the way, naturally improves the soil structure even further. It's just this perfect natural synergy.
All right, on to week 3. This is where the plugs become fertilizer.
It is officially time to entirely reframe how we view those little brown cylinders covering the lawn. Those plugs are not trash. They are absolute treasure. Think of them as small, brilliant packages of beneficial microbes and highly valuable organic material. As they get pulled to the surface, rain, irrigation, your mower, and our newly awakened microbial friends begin to break them apart. As they dissolve, all that valuable organic matter is naturally redistributed right back down into the lawn. This is literally nature's ultimate recycling program. It enhances nutrient cycling and improves the overall soil structure entirely organically, without you having to drop a single bag of synthetic chemicals. How cool is that?
Finally, we hit week 4. Stronger soil, stronger roots.
By the end of this 30-day cycle, the plugs have likely broken down completely. You look out at your lawn, and it essentially looks quote-unquote normal again. But trust me, the root zone is anything but normal. It has been completely and permanently reset for the season. You now have significantly more oxygen holding in the soil, which means way better water infiltration so the rain actually soaks in instead of running off. You have highly increased biological activity, heavily reduced surface compaction, and massively expanded root systems. The grass is now fully armed and ready to thrive, and it's all because you finally let the soil breathe.
So, when do we actually do this? Let's talk strategic timing and why fall is the perfect time. Now, you might be wondering, when should we actually initiate this whole 30-day process? Well, it all comes down to a perfect environmental balance. In late August through September, especially in regions like Charlotte, the soil temperatures are still quite warm. That lingering summer heat stored in the dirt encourages incredibly rapid root development, and it completely maximizes that microbial activity we just talked about. But at the same time, the air temperatures are finally getting cooler. That means the grass plant itself isn't completely stressed out from the scorching sun anymore. You're giving the roots a massive head start here. They get several crucial, perfectly balanced months to establish a really dense network before the extreme heat of the next summer arrives.
Wrapping things up here with our conclusion: building health from the ground up.
As we wrap up our journey beneath the grass today, I think it becomes really clear that core aeration is never about making your lawn look instantly better overnight. In fact, as we saw, it makes it look a little worse for a couple of weeks. But it is the ultimate long game. Lawn Pride of North Charlotte notes that true lawn resilience is a foundation built deeply beneath the surface. It's all about creating a thriving biological environment that sustains the plant for years. They have a saying, healthy lawns don't happen by chance. They happen by choice. Choosing to aerate is choosing to intervene. It's choosing to relieve that hidden suffocation of compaction, to awaken those microbes, and to give your lawn the breath of fresh air it desperately needs to survive. The next time you see a yard covered in little dirt plugs, you're going to know exactly the miraculous awakening happening right beneath their feet. So, my final question to you is, what choice will you make for your lawn this fall? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.